Hey, how you doing? David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. And today, I have a lesson for you on how to clean up your sound and kill string noise dead. I've been receiving a lot of email questions lately about students asking like, hey, I'm hitting other strings and I'm hearing other noises, and when I bend strings, I hit other strings, and is this wrong? And so I want to go over how you can totally kill all that string noise, because it's not really wrong per se, because when you're bending strings and when you're playing, you're going to be hitting other strings. You're going to be hitting them inadvertently. You're going to be hitting them when you're bending. You're going to be hitting them as you're moving up and down on the strings. So hitting other strings happens. But what you have to do is you have to mute out every note that you are not playing. Right? This is absolutely critical to clean up your sound. Or think about it like this. You have to mute out all the strings that you're not playing, so you only hear the one or the two or the ones that you want to hear. Everything else has to get muted out. There's a few different ways that you could do this. I'm going to show you the way that I've come up with using both the right hand, the pick hand, and the fret hand together in this two-handed muting technique. And this is an absolute must-know, because as you probably are learning throughout your guitar journey, especially if you're starting to add like overdrive or distortion to your sound, because that just takes the noise, the string noise, and amplifies it. Before we get rocking though, please subscribe to the channel, because subscribing to the channel, that really helps us to keep bringing the content, and then also you'll be notified when I have new lessons out. Leave a comment below. Let me know how your string muting is going, or let me know what lessons you'd like to see coming up, or what gear you'd like to see reviewed. Leave a comment below. If you like the video, please click the like button, give it a thumbs up, right? Share it, and thank you so much for your support. And I just want to let you know up front that if you're not doing these types of techniques, they are going to take a little while to get used to. It's going to feel a little strange at first, but I'm telling you, if you stick with it and give it time, eventually this string muting will be ingrained in your playing. You have to get it under your fingers, and you have to get it like the muscle memory down, right? And then it's automatic. Like when I'm playing and doing it, I don't even think about doing it. It's just part of my technique. But at first it was a little bit strange because I wasn't doing those things, right? And it's kind of the same way. Like, remember when you first learned like how to change from a G chord to a D chord or whatever, right? You had to kind of think about moving those fingers and picking them up, and like, oh, I'm moving this one and I'm moving this one. I got to move them both together, and I got to keep this one down. And it was you're sending those messages, right? And then after a while, and after you have it down in the muscle memory, it becomes automatic, right? So now if you're like changing G to D, you probably don't even think about it. It's not like you're actively sending that message down to move your fingers, right? It's automatic. You have that muscle memory. It's the same way with string muting. It's the same thing as far as the technique. After a while, you'll just be doing it automatically and not even thinking about it. So let's use a scale as an example so you could practice this, so I could show you this. I'll stay in the middle of the fretboard, and let's just use this A natural minor scale. Looks like this. If I play that scale, but I don't use this muting technique, right? Here's what it sounds like. You hear all that noise, right? All that noise is created by, inadvertently touching the other strings or them ringing out, especially if you have, like I have a little bit of overdrive on. And that's what we need to kill out. So what I'm going to do, here's the crux of it. I'm going to use my fret hand, and I want you to put your fret hand right on the strings. So you're laying your fret hand right on the strings. I do it like right about at the bridge, a little in front of the bridge. And I'm on a little bit of an angle here, as opposed to just being straight like this, because I'm kind of a big guy and I need I don't want my shoulder to be up like this. So that's why I kind of feels comfortable to me there. But my hand is always on these strings. I'm not playing with my hand off the strings. If your hand is off the strings, get it down on the strings. Okay, so that's the basic thing and then I'm going to be slightly moving it up and down as I go up and down the strings. And this is going to mute out all of the lower strings, all of the strings that are lower, or let's just say this way, if you're looking at the guitar, this way above the note that I'm playing. And then I'm going to use the first finger on my left hand and that mutes out all the notes that are below the note. If you're looking at the high strings, down from the note that I'm playing. And again, that moves up and down. I'm going to give you close-ups of these, but that first finger is just laying on the strings. So both hands basically, fret hand on the strings to mute the lower ones, first finger to mute the higher ones. And I have that first finger on a little bit of an angle. So the first thing we'll do is let's go in on a tight shot on my fret hand. And I know I showed you one scale. If you want to see that scale and so many others diagrammed out on paper, I could really help you with that. I have a killer ebook where I diagram out like 29 scales, and in that ebook there's all kinds of lessons on soloing strategies, minor and major key. It's just packed with information. I'll pair that with a video lesson on how to really dress up your lead guitar playing, easy ways to add simple devices and techniques to dress up your playing. I'll send them both to you. Free video lesson, free ebook. Just click on that link in the YouTube description box below. I'll send them both to you for free. You can see from this angle, I'm laying my hand right on the strings, and it's like this part of my hand is actually on the strings, okay? Right here, a little bit in front of the bridge. And you can experiment what feels better, where that fleshy part of my palm, so to speak, is lying on the strings. And then all I'm doing as I'm going up or down is it's just a subtle movement. I'm exaggerating it here, but as I go down or descend, I'm moving it down and I'm moving it up when I come up. And this way, I'm always muting out these lower strings. Now, obviously, depending on, like if I'm playing a note up here on the high E, I have to mute out with my palm all the notes, all the strings, all 5 of these, because I want to play this note here. And as I move up the strings, then I'm going to be muting out these 3. If I'm playing this note on the G string, I'm going to be muting out these low 3 with my palm. So I have to move it up a little bit. It's a subtle movement, and you'll get the hang of it, but you'll watch me in a minute when I'm playing the scale. Now let's talk about the fret hand. The first finger is going to be laying right on the strings at all times, and it's going to be muting out the high E, the B, the G, or whatever it is up to the note that you want to play, but it's touching all the strings, so it's constantly muting them. That first finger, and I keep it on a little bit of an angle instead of like this, because again, that turns my wrist in. As I'm moving down that scale, see, it's muting out all the high notes, all the high strings. So for instance, if I'm playing this, see, it's down, muting out all the strings that are above, because I want to play the G string, it's muting out the B and the high E. If I want to play here on the D string, it's going to be muting out all these strings up to the D string. And then this hand gets the lower strings. So you see, between both hands, you mute out all the strings above and all the strings below the notes that you're playing. So you mute out every string you're not playing. Now, watch as I play the scale slowly, and you'll see this subtle movement of my pick hand up and down. So you see that subtle movement, and my first finger is muting. I'll give you a shot of that. You could see how it's lying flat on the strings here. It's not hooked, catching, and then the B and an E, high E, are going to ring out. It's flat, laying right on the strings. And that's how I mute out those high strings. So let me descend down the scale again. You could watch this fret hand movement. Right? I'm hitting other strings, like when I bend. See how I'm bending into this D string? But you don't hear that because it's muted. See that first finger, even up high here, when I'm up on this note, on that A note, on the D string, it's still muting all these other strings. Sit there and just practice like that easy bend to the blue note, where I'm hitting this, I'm bending up this 7th fret, half step, pulling off to the 5th fret, and sliding. Right, I'm working on that G string, but as I'm doing it, See this first finger is muting the B and the high E. And as I'm hitting that D string, you don't hear it because this pick hand is down, muting the D. So I'm just staying in that scale, but I'm really concentrating on muting out those high strings and on moving this hand very subtly up or down. So add this to your routine, whatever scales you're working on, even pentatonics. And really find that sweet spot for having that first finger down and having this fret hand down, what's comfortable to you. Give it some time and you will get it, and you'll notice how this will totally eliminate all that noise. Stay tuned. I got tons more killer content and lessons coming up. Please subscribe to that channel. That helps us to keep bringing the content, and it'll also let you know when we have new lessons out. Don't forget, click on that link in the YouTube description box below. I'll send you my killer video lesson on how to easy ways to dress up your playing, easy devices, and also my ebook where I have all the scales diagrammed out, like 29 scales, soloing strategies, lessons. It's packed. Click on that link below. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for your support over the years and years. So appreciate it. Keep up all that hard work on your guitar, and remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.